Hello, good morning. Good. How you doing? Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, you're gonna, yes. We're gonna wait about 1 minute, take an announcement, then we're gonna do the wrap and start off with. We'll give everybody about 1 more minute, any stragglers to come in, and then we'll kick off the drawing, the raffle, the prizes. I know you guys are. Who's getting the prizes, right? We'll get that one out of the way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's all cars. New cars for everybody, right? Oh yeah. I mean, if you signed up, then your name was there. Yeah. No, it's just for the. We got a heated blanket. We got a heat massage gun. Maybe let you pick. Go maybe 30 more seconds, and then we'll kick it off.
And we were just talking about those electric blankets.
Yeah, especially today. See, that's a good use today. Chilly, murky day, you know.
It's a pajama day.
Yeah, pajama. It's a pajama heated blanket day. 20 seconds here. We'll just get it going. All right. So I got everybody, original 35 that had signed up in here. Got your names, numbers in here. I just kind of made a ticket for everybody. We'll do the first drawing. Would you mind reaching in? You got it. Perfect. Hey, that's it. Let's see. That's number 24. Who is Simone Ware? Is she here today? Hey, okay. Which prize would you like? Doesn't matter? We'll do the heat therapy, the massage gun thing here. All right, let's give a round of applause for Simone. Yay! There we go. Okay, that's great. Awesome. Heated blanket. We're going in number 2. Let's hit over here. What you got? Reach in. Pick a good one.
Hopefully me.
Yeah. We'll see. We got number 8. That was Miss Vivian Thompson. Oh, hey, there you go. Let's get a round of applause for Miss Thompson there. Nice. All right. Here you go. Need a blanket for you. Yes, like I said, you're going to need it today. I'll close this door here. We'll get it. I'll do this. All right. Great. Okay. So thank you all for coming here today. Want to thank also the Milton Senior Center, the Gracie Center, for letting me come here and talk to you guys. Before we start, who here today would like to learn more about their balance? Raise your hand and say, I do. Little light. Who here would like to learn what they can do at home to improve their balance? Raise your hand and say, I do. That's better. Oh, that side said it. This side did not. We'll try again. Raise your hand and say, I do. Yeah, let's get some energy. That way I'm just not like talking to you guys. We can kind of make it interactive here. So there was about 120 people in the bingo room last week when we kind of advertised for it, and about 40 people signed up. So like, look around. These are the people that are like serious, not just curious, but serious about their health and improving their balance. So give yourself a round of applause here. Yep, good work. You got it. So we'll also call out the elephant in the room before we start. Like, what's in it for Nick? Why are you doing this, right? So the disclosure is, at the end of the workshop, I will make an offer. I do have a clinic in Pensacola, and anybody who stays around is welcome to work with me there. Some of you will take me up, some of you won't. That's okay. We can still be friends. So there you go. That's why it's here. So next question is, what do I know about balance? What makes me qualified to stand up here? So I'll tell you a little bit about my story, if that's okay with you guys. So it starts over a decade ago. Working as a home health contractor, PT contractor, which means I would work for all of the home health agencies in the area, work for like 18 home health agencies. But the catalyst for becoming an expert in balance and falls occurred when my grandma, she fell twice in her home, hitting her head. I'm gonna pass these pictures around. Some of you guys might know her. Her name's Claudia Rott. She's a member here, but I'll pass these pictures around so you guys can take a look. This was after the ER. They sent her home with like a big bandage on her head. It looks almost fake. But she was tripping every day in her house. She had stopped walking her neighborhood, which was like her favorite thing, stopped participating in church. And so naturally, the family looked to me and said, hey, looks like grandma needs some home health, needs some help with her balance. What home health agency should you use? You know them all. And that's a big responsibility because choose right, it's going to affect her life. Choose wrong, it could really affect the rest of her life. But then kind of realized something troubling, which is I know a lot of home health agencies. I know a lot of really nice home health agencies. But like I know what they're going to do. They're going to walk for a little bit. They're going to have you sit on a chair and kick your leg, right? And that'll be it. And you're not really going to see the big improvements in balance that I want for all seniors in the area. So over the next couple months, I dove into all of the literature, all of the courses that the APTA, the American Physical Therapy Association, has on balance. Studied for months, for like over a year, and then decided to sit for the APTA's most grueling test. It's a 6-hour Q&A. Very few people pass. It's for a board certification. But pass I did. So I became one of 3,000 in the nation that has passed that test. And so armed with that new expertise, I decided to start my own practice, a geriatric focused practice focused on successful aging and balance enhancement, getting seniors, back on their feet, not falling, doing the hobbies that they love. So grandma was first patient there. We worked, I'm happy to say, she is back to walk in the neighborhood, participating in church. She hasn't had a fall in over a year. We'll pass that around. So this is her, now she's out. She's back around. Just pass these around. There you go. Nice. So, yeah, here today to kind of share that knowledge with you guys here so you guys can start, start the first steps on improving your balance. So, 3 ways people fall, pretty much, mostly. The first one is, people are walking. Maybe they're walking with their knees bent already. Knees start to give way, right? They collapse to the floor. That's a strength issue. We'll talk a little bit about that, but we're more focused on the other 2, which are the balance issues, right? So that would be, you're doing something, you start leaning one way, and you just keep going. The other one would be you're walking and something throws you off balance. Maybe you caught your toe on a cord, or you caught your toe on a rug, or on a step. Start going forward, you don't catch yourself, you keep going forward, right? Down she goes, like timber. So those both are balance issues. That's what we're going to mostly talk about today. So I'm going to say balance a lot. What is balance? What does that even mean when we talk about balance? So your balance is your ability to keep your center of gravity over your base of support. And we're going to talk about what those words mean. I'm going to pass out these little birds here. You guys can pass around and see. You kind of know how they work. But just pass around. You can see these are little balance birds. Some of you might be familiar with it. They just kind of easily balance on your finger over here. Give a bunch of those. Just kind of mess with them here. We'll talk about why these what the trick is behind these balance birds, guys. We'll pass around a couple over here. Here you go. There you go. Yeah, just kind of balance on your finger. It's pretty nice. So let's center of gravity, base of support. Your center of gravity is the average of all of the weight in your body. There's a point on your body where most of your weight is. We'll pretend like this orb is my center of gravity. For humans, center of gravity is somewhere between their hips and their shoulders, somewhere around right here. And as you age, it kind of moves around, but it basically stays right here. For these balance birds, their center of gravity is right there in their beak, right on its, right where it touches your finger. And that's why it's so easy to balance on those things. I'm about 175 pounds. If all that weight was in my feet, right, it would be really, really hard to knock me over because all of my weight's right there on my feet. But unfortunately, we're not those balance birds, we're humans, so our center of gravity is way up here. So if we're talking about base of support, what does that mean? That is what is in contact with the ground, what you got touching the ground. So for humans, we got our feet, right? That's our base of support. The wider the base of support, the easier it's going to be to balance. The more narrow the base of support, the harder it's going to be to balance. If you think about a table, right, very stable. It's got a humongous base of support. Table almost never falls on its own. You ever seen a table fall over just by itself? No, doesn't happen, right? But if you think about a cane or a stick, very narrow base of support, you let it go, it falls over automatically, right? That's very narrow base of support. So your goal is to keep your center of gravity over base of support. And when you're walking, you're taking your center of gravity, and you've got to be able to go onto one foot, balance that center of gravity over that foot, then take another step, put it on that foot, take another step, put it on that foot, right? And that can be a challenge. But the good news is, and if there's one lesson from today, it's this. Balance is a skill. It's not a trait. It's not something you either have or don't have. Balance is a skill. It's something that if you practice, it gets better. And conversely, if you don't practice it, it gets worse. It's just like pickleball or sewing or anything, right? If you stimulate it, it gets better and better. You're never too old to improve your balance. You can make improvements to your balance no matter what your age is. So I'm gonna say that a bunch this lecture, but that's the takeaway. So balance is a skill. Balance is a skill. Yeah, one more time. Balance is a skill. It's a skill. It's something you can practice, right? So I need a volunteer from the audience. Anybody? Oh, not all at once. Yeah, here we go. Come on up. So we're gonna check out your balance today. Do you think you got good balance, bad balance, okay balance? What you think?
Okay.
Okay balance? Okay, so here's how we're gonna measure. We're gonna put some numbers on our balance. We'll let you stand here kind of holding on to this podium, okay? So we're gonna start with her having a very wide base of support. Go ahead, you can stand wide. Try to stand without holding on. We're gonna count. 1, everybody, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, pass, no problem, right? We're gonna make it a little harder now. We're gonna narrow your base of support. And I want everybody to kind of imagine and look at what her center of gravity is doing. So her center of gravity is like right here, right? And so let's keep an eye on that as we narrow her base of support. So next we're gonna stand, you can hold on here, with your feet together. Right, let's try that without holding on. 10, or we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, everybody count. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Easy, easy peasy, right? Let's make it a little harder now. Go ahead and hold on. We're going to take one foot and put it in front of the other. Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Have you been drinking this morning? No? All right. So now we're going to try this, right, without holding on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So far, so good, right? Little shaking, but pretty good so far. Not for a hard one. Let's try, hold on again. We're going to go real narrow. 1 foot. So let's try standing at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great job. So you got great balance. Let's give a round of applause. What's your name? Kathy. Round of applause for Kathy. We say Kathy's got good balance. Like, that's a pass. That's a pass. If anybody here isn't confident that they could stand on 1 foot for 10 seconds, we've got some balance problems, right? You're having a hard time keeping that center of gravity over your base of support, right? Yeah. So 10 seconds is the threshold. The Center for Disease Control took surveys of thousands and thousands of seniors and looked at what numbers, what can they do, the ones that don't fall versus the ones that can fall. And this is one of them. We'll talk about more, but the people who don't fall, people who rarely go to the hospital, they practice their balance so that they can stand on 1 foot for 10 seconds. And that's something that everybody here can achieve with practice. It just, it takes practice, and everybody's going to start a little bit farther. Not like Kathy. Kathy's good, right? So,
Show off.
we'll get someone else up here in a little bit, right?
Senior fitness every morning.
That's great, yeah. So here's a story, right? Another story for you. I knew a lady her name was Brenda, and she had a really hard time getting up her steps. In fact, she was getting terrified of getting up her steps, so much so that she would take her groceries and she would just put them on the steps and then sit on her butt and then scoot her way up the stairs that way. And she was,
Sounds familiar.
yeah, she was falling in her home, started to use a walker, and her friends and family were telling her, hey, you can't leave the house anymore. You shouldn't be walking alone. You need to just be sitting. And so she sat. She got weaker and weaker, and her balance kind of got worse and worse. Right? So can anybody tell me, what do you think the problem was with her balance? I don't know, we'll ask you. How about that? What do you think? Well, no, practice is one of them, definitely. But the stairs in particular was hard because you got a hands full of groceries. You're trying to stand up that step. You've got to be able to stand on 1 foot. And if your hands are full of groceries, you can't use the bar or anything. And eventually, you lose practice. It gets harder and harder because you stop doing those things. And right, balance is a oh, that's a fail. Balance is a skill, right? If you don't practice it, it'll get worse. But luckily, right, she found me. We started working together. She conquered her steps. Here's a picture of her at the top of her stairs. Like, she's not afraid of steps anymore. She's got it. We'll pass those around. Next time I'll have Next time we'll have a PowerPoint here for you. Here you go. And we'll pass those around. Top of the stairs. She's happy. She hasn't fallen in over a year either, right? And so we're going to go over the framework, right? My framework for how we work on balance and how we improve our balance. Because there's four phases here. Phase one, we call the pain and posture phase. Phase two, we call the prime phase. Then we've got perform, right? And then prevent. We're going to break those down here. Posture, right? Posture and pain. That doesn't mean we're going to put you in pain. It means we need to get you out of pain so that you can effectively do your balance. Because if you're limping, or if you're leaning one way because you're in so much pain, that's going to affect your balance. For most of our clients, like 90%, we can get out of pain within 4 weeks. You ask Ms. Faye, took her 3 weeks to get out of pain. But we're not going to focus on that today. We're going to focus more on the balance side, which is the posture, right? So when we talk about posture, here's the balance parts that we need. You know, it starts with shoulders, right? If you've got your head forward and your shoulders forward, and then the second part is your hips. If you've aren't able to achieve full standing in your hips, right? Can anybody see why this would affect our balance? I'm going to hold up my center of gravity here so that you guys can see when I'm here. Well, right here, what do you think? Why do you think this is hard on balance?
Because you're not standing straight.
Yeah, well, not standing straight, right? Because my center of gravity, I haven't even started moving yet. It's already off my base of support. If anything pushes me, anything even nudges me from behind, I'm already halfway there going forward. So, step one is stretching, right? But particularly your chest muscles and your hip flexors to try to get as straight as you can. Because you want to start from a good base, lined up on top of your base of support here. Right, you stretch your chest muscles. You probably have seen these before, like in a door, right? Stretching your chest muscle. Or you can use any type of, you could be sitting and stretch your chest muscle. You're trying to pull everything back. Your hip flexors you're trying to stretch, usually that's typically either like a lunge or you're lying on a bed, like just letting your leg hang off the bed, so you're getting that stretch there. You're just trying to straighten yourself. If you've had a hip replacement, you're limited on what hip stretches you can do, so proceed with caution. You don't want to hit those hip precautions. But for most people, especially that haven't had hip surgery, that's it. We're starting with posture, right? That's the first phase. Let's get another volunteer up here. What do you think? Anybody? I'm going to call somebody. Yeah, okay, come on up. So we're going to take a look at your posture to start with. We'll let you use a cane. Need help? I can pull you. Oh, this is the next phase, the prime phase. I think you'd be a prime candidate for it too. But how can I tell, where should my posture be? We can use a wall. We'll use this wall here. Move some space. Before you get here. So, putting your heels to the wall, right? You can see my resting posture. I'm already a little bit farther forward. But if I'm not just going to pull my head back. If I just arch my back and pull my shoulders back, my head goes back automatically. So this is where ideally posture should be. It's a hard place to get to, but this is how you can tell, where is my posture? Is my posture close? Ideally, we should have everything lined up here. My ears should be over my shoulders, should be over my hips, should be over my base of support, right? And so if you're finding it hard to get here, you need to stretch those hip flexors. If you're finding yourself here, we need to stretch our shoulders back. Let's see how your posture's doing today. Let's take a look. We're going to go heels back there. Nice. All right, not bad to start with, but you can see, right, we got some space between your head and the wall. Shoulders are off the wall too. So what we want to do is put a little bit of an arch into our back, squeeze our shoulders back. Your hips look okay, right? So for you, right, we'd be trying to open up your chest a little bit. We don't necessarily want to lift up. We kind of want our spine to do most of the lifting there. It takes practice, but right, for most, and even you included, it starts with those chest stretches. So good job. Yeah, what's your name? Donna. Let's give a round of applause for Donna. Hey, there you go. You got the easy one, just standing on the wall. We'll let you get back to your seat over there. Yeah, so that's posture. That's just phase one here. Let's move into the others. Actually, before we move too much into the others, maybe with a takeaway so far. Give me something you've learned. Anything.
What balance?
Okay, that's good. What balance is, right? Your center of gravity. You know the seat. I was just helping you.
Mama told you to
Making
stand
sure.
up straight.
Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
In yoga, they'll have you lay on the floor with your butt against the wall with your feet straight.
Mhm.
Is that the same thing? Will that do the same thing?
I mean, all stretching is good stretching, right? There's not like
If
bad
your back
stretches.
is all straight.
Yeah, but in general, if we're looking for stretches for balance, we want things that are going to take us from here to standing up straight. So that means, right, hip flexors, if you're feeling a stretch right here, that's it. If you're feeling a stretch right here, that doesn't really matter what you're doing. If you feel a stretch, you got it. So, pick your poison, but those are the stretches you kind of want to focus on. If my posture's kind of gotten away from me over the years. Where are we at here? Posture, nice. Okay, next stage is, we call it the prime phase, right? What we're trying to do here is prime your functional strength, your core strength, and your body awareness, your body's balance systems. We're going to talk a little bit about what that means here. So I'm going to grab a chair over here for us up here. We're going to check somebody's core strength, their functional strength. Actually, I guess before I do that, let me do another demonstration. Here's a little problem sometimes balance classes have. If you've ever gone to community balance classes, sometimes they just kind of have you sit in a chair, right? And you're kicking. I guess let me rewind one more time. Functional core strength, right? What we're most interested in is your center of gravity. If it starts to leave your base of support, you need the strength in your core to push it back over there, right? If you're starting to go forward, you need to be able to shift your center of gravity back over your base of support. And that comes from your core strength. So in those balance classes, a lot of times, they'll have you sit in a chair, you're kicking, right, and you're marching, right? And that's okay exercise, but does anybody see what the problem is if we're trying to get our balance stronger, like our stronger?
Yeah.
I see a nod right here. What's the problem?
Not holding your core.
Well, correct, exactly. My center of gravity isn't moving at all. My legs are moving, but I'm not really working on moving my center of gravity. So I'm probably gonna get really good at kicking, but I'm probably not gonna see big dramatic changes in my balance. Now here's a better exercise. It's a harder exercise, but if I'm practicing standing up and sitting back down, right? Okay, now I'm moving my core. Like I'm getting used to that core strength exercise. So better, and that's a good way to tell. Ooh, how's my core strength? How's my functional strength? Another volunteer from the audience. We're going to check out your strength. What do we think? Hey, come on up. Yes, perfect. Let's have a round of applause. All righty. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Martha. Nice to meet you. All right, have a seat here. Do you think you can stand up from that chair without using your hands? Yes. Yeah? Okay. So we're going to see how many she can do. Oh, I don't have my phone. In 30 seconds. Phone's recording. Right? Back to that CDC number. We should be able to do 10 in 30 seconds, no matter your age. That's the functional strength. I believe it. You've seen we're ready. Let's go. We're going to count her down. So I'll say 3, 2, 1, and go. 1. Everybody count with me. And come on up. 2. Come on up. 3. 4. You're doing great. Rocking's okay. You're using a lot of strength. 6. Something we can work on, but it's great. Keep going. See if we can do it. 10. 8. We got it. 9. Feel good?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. 10. Good work. All right. That's a round of applause. So good functional strength, right? And if you're thinking, oh, I don't know if I can get out of a chair like 2 times in 30 seconds. Ooh, well, that's something you want to work on then. I think it's your functional core strength is contributing to your balance. That's something to practice. But the great news is that balance is a skill. Balance is a skill. You can practice it just like standing up from a chair is a skill. If you practice that every day, you'll get stronger. It'll get easier. And you don't have to start with a low chair without your hands, right? That's probably too hard for a lot of people to start with. Start from an elevated chair. Start by using your hands. When you can do 10 and it feels easy, go a little slower, right? Go back, start practicing again until you can find a level chair where you can stand up 10 times without using your hands. Then you know, okay, I've done it. Like that's my core strength is good. So another thing to take home, right? You need to work on that functional strength. It can improve. We talked about, okay, so here's the next one, right? We talked about priming your core strength. We also need to prime your inputs, your body awareness. It's like we talked, balance is your center of gravity over your base of support. How does your body know when your center of gravity is leaving that base of support? You know what? How does my body even know? Well, there's 3 systems. First one is your vision. So you're taking stock of your surroundings, and when you see things start to tilt, that's your first, your body's first sign to engage the core, move the center of gravity over. But you've also got your proprioception. That's nerves that are in really all your body. So if I'm not looking at my leg, I know it's about right there, because I've got nerves that are telling me where it is in space. You can, do fun games at home with this where you're trying to draw with your eyes closed. It's something that could be improved. You've also got your inner ear, your vestibular system. So with my eyes closed, I can tell when my head is moving because my inner ear's got hairs that are moving with gravity and fluid. They're all three systems that are coming together, working as a team to keep your center of gravity over your base of support. Most people though just use their vision, and so, right? Like let's tell another story here. I knew another lady. Her name was Dolly, and she had pretty good balance during the day, but she would lose her balance in the shower, shampooing her hair, and she would lose her balance walking in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, right? So what do you think? What was the problem there? No, not sure? We'll move. What do you think? What was the problem?
One was she couldn't see.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. Goes into shampoo, lose the vision. Oh, where am I? Right? She had kind of undertrained her proprioception and her vestibular. Her balance was 100% vision. Take away the vision and the balance went away, right? Both things that can be improved though. You can get better at proprioception and you can get more in tune to your vestibular system. These things can improve because balance is a skill. Balance is a skill, right? You practice it, it will get better. But in the meantime, that's why people will tell you to put a hallway light on, at night to try to increase your vision. Try to put light things so that you can see while you're working on your balance. Come on up here. What's your name again? Kathy. Another round of applause for Kathy. So let's try that again. We'll let you hold on.
Okay.
All right, we're going to stand on one foot with eyes closed, right? So you can go. We'll count her down. Can you let go? 1, 2, count with me. 3 seconds. You can open your eyes. Right? So, right?
Yeah.
Big dip.
Yeah.
And it's okay. We expect there to be a dip, but we don't want it to be 90%, gone. You went from 10, maybe could have done 20 to 2.
Right. Yeah.
So it tells us,
With your eyes open, sort of.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
fine, but till you start walking and now what if it's night? Oh, does that mean my balance is gone? I can't walk at night? It can be improved. But good work. Another hand of applause. Very good. Yeah, good. So let's see. Let me get another takeaway. Something right over here. Name something you've learned so far. That's you.
Is that a me?
That's you. Yep.
Oh.
You're talking to me.
It's a learned skill.
Yeah, I'll take it. No, that's good. We'll take that one. We'll do a round of applause. Good job. Thank you. All right, great. So we talked about posture and pain. We talked about priming your body systems. Right. The next one is perform. This is maybe the most important one. Is your balance is only going to improve if you're challenging your balance. If things are, you saw when she was on one foot. Knee was kind of wobbling, ankle was moving, right? That's how you know you're challenging your balance. If you're not feeling that, then you're not challenging your balance, you're not stimulating your balance. So any balance exercise is kind of inherently risky because you've got to be able to, it's got to be challenging a little bit. So that's kind of another problem with some of the big group balance classes that they have. They're still good exercise. Now, don't get me wrong, I think everybody should participate, but this is why you don't see giant, dramatic changes. It's because most balance classes, they have you standing up, holding on to something, right? And then you're kind of moving your legs. Does anybody see the problem?
Yeah.
What? Oh, what's it?
Yeah, not balanced.
Leaning on something.
Yeah, it's good exercise. You're getting some good movement, right? And it's good social, but I'm not fighting for my balance, so I'm not really stimulating my balance. And that's not necessarily their fault. It's really hard for one person to do a group and make. Because everybody's going to be kind of fighting for balance. You can't be with all of them making sure they're going to fall, making sure they're not going to fall, right? Yeah. So, how do you practice that at home? That's a really tough one. So let's say you've got a walker though. Your mindset should be not when I get up and walk, I'm going to put all my weight on the walker, right? And walk so it's easy. Your mindset should be I'm going to try to put most of the weight on my feet. I'm going to let the walker help what balance I don't have. Right? And maybe it's a little bit difficult, but that's kind of what I'm shooting for. And then if you need more, like if you start to lose your balance, your walker's right there in your hand. But the default shouldn't be, I'm going to put my weight all on the walker. You need to put that weight on your feet and let some balance. Another way to practice balance, this is another kind of, risky one. Don't do it if you don't feel safe. Just grab the trash can and throw it. I'll do this one over here. Just to find a corner of your house, pretend like this isn't here, right? And you put maybe a chair in front of you, do it with supervision, somebody beside you, but then you work on kind of getting your base narrow until you're having to fight a little bit for your balance. And you do it in a corner of your house, that way worst case scenario, there's nowhere for you to fall. Like I said, if you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. But this is how you practice. If you're fighting for your balance, then that's stimulating your balance. That's what you want. You want that stimulation. Because balance is a skill. Balance is a skill. You've got to practice your balance if you want it to get better. Right? And that kind of brings us to, so where did my balance go? Why is my balance getting worse as I get older? And the reason is, like, if you look around, all of these floors perfectly flat and level. You're going to walk to your house, it's perfectly flat, straight shot everywhere, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? Good intentions. I don't want people challenging their balance. They're going to fall. They're going to sue me, right? So everything is very flat. You probably go a full day where your balance is never challenged, kind of inherently. So you don't use your balance, and it gets away from you. Like what happens when you leave something alone? So let's see. What happens when you leave your garden alone? What happens to it? It dies, right? What happens if you leave your hair alone? We'll get here. What do you think? Yeah, messy, right? Right. What happens if you leave way in the back? What happens if you leave your grandkids alone or your great grandkids?
They
Yeah,
destroy the house.
exactly. It's chaos. It's disorder, right? If you leave anything alone, the universe is going to go to chaos and disorder. You're only going to improve what you focus on and what you're intentional about. Right? Think about how kids develop their balance when they're a baby. They get up, they fall. Right? They get back up, they walk again, they fall. They do it over and over for years until they learn how to balance. Over 65, we don't really have the luxury of I'll just keep falling until I learn it. So that makes it hard to practice. But right, that's why I kind of need tricks. I need lots of safety rails around me so that if I do start to lose my balance, I can catch myself. Like I said, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't do it. There's other ways you can practice your balance. This is where I was planning on demonstrating improvement, but she was so good on the balance here. Yeah, let's see who else. No, we had all our volunteers were so good on balance. But yeah, typically you'll see improvement in your balance, and the way you can check is, you narrow your base of support until you can't do it for 10 to 30 seconds, and you keep track of how long you can do that for. Like there's your balance. That's a little number you can look at to say my balance is this, and you keep practicing. You'll see that number go up every day. Especially if you're putting time into it. And the threshold there is standing on one foot for 10 seconds. You can't do that, you make it easier, right? Standing one foot in front of the other for 10 seconds. Can't do that, make it easier. Standing feet kind of close together, right? Can't do that, you can start very wide, and maybe just holding on with like a finger. You can start anywhere, but if you practice it, it's got to get better. You just have to practice it, because this is the last time. Because balance is a skill. Yeah, right, exactly. Just got to keep practicing. That's the key there. So, we got some takeaways to bring home, right? We'll just do one last takeaway. How about you, sir, with the hat? Yeah, what's something you learned so far?
Practicing your balancing skills.
I'll take it. That's a good one too. You got to practice your balance. Yeah, if you want it to get better, you have to practice it. And these are the ways you practice it. We'll go over them again, right? Making sure that you've got good posture. So when you're walking, you're not defaulting gear where you're already at a disadvantage. You're keeping everything over your base of support. We're making sure that your body's primed for movement. So you got good strength in your legs and in your core. You can move your body in space, right? And then we've got perform, which is I'm practicing those balance. I'm doing something that's challenging my balance a little bit. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter how little. You got to feel that challenge for it to get better. That's the balance presentation there. There's more to discuss. I'd love to work with each and every one of you, but don't have the time in the room or the privacy to do it. If anybody's interested in an hour-long one-on-one eval from me, happy to work with you, give you a report of your findings. Custom plan of care, we give you top 3 exercises to do. You have access to my personal email to ask me questions. We give you a t-shirt on the eval too. So anybody's interested, come on up and sign, but we'll also open the floor up for Q&A. Anybody have any questions? Yes?
What does body strength and shape go into the balance?
Body strength?
Strength.
Yeah, strength is just, right, we're looking at it grossly. It's how good can you get up from a chair, right? And there's, I think, definitely something that we could be working on is functional strength, right? But it's something that you put time into it, it'll get better. You just gotta, it's a consistency game, right? And I'll see you next. As you get older, you're still capable of doing those other things. The downside is that you lose your strength a lot faster, and it comes back a lot slower, but it does come back. I'll show you some pictures, some videos of 98-year-olds on one foot standing. It's very easy to go away from you. You kind of let's say an event happens, you go to the hospital, you've got pneumonia, you lay in bed for a week. You know, proportionally, as you get older, you're gonna lose a lot of strength, and it's gonna take you weeks to get it back there with consistency, consistently working on it. And most people, they kind of get here and they think, well, I'm this age, I'm so-and-so age, it's not coming back, you know, and then they just kind of stay here, and then the next hospital takes them down another peg. But it just takes consistency. You can work on it. I won't do it again, but balance is a skill. You can work on it. I'll save you guys. Yes, sir, in the back.
How would you walk backwards and not lose your balance?
Oh, I mean, right, same way you would walk forward. The challenge here is you've got a little bit less visual input so that where you're going, but it's the same thing. It's all about taking your center of gravity and you're balancing it on one foot, base of support wise.
Like toe to heel?
I mean, yeah, I would say toe to heel.
Toe to heel.
Yeah, that's a great question. That's not one a lot of people ask, because not a lot of people walk backwards.
Need a very good heel.
Yeah. I don't think you necessarily, I mean, if it's something that you need to do,
About closing your eyes.
yeah, right, and the short answer is, it's good exercise. The long answer is, it's inherently risky, because you're trying to throw yourself off
What
balance.
about putting your arms out to help you balance?
Well, I mean, and that's okay, but we always want our practice to look like what we're trying to get to. So like if you're trying to get better at walking, the best exercise is to walk straight. If for some reason you have to walk backwards, then that's good exercise, but the best exercise is gonna look like the thing you wanna do. If you wanna get better at standing from a chair, the best exercise is just standing from a chair over and over again, right? If you wanna get better at walking, the best exercise is doing a lot of walking. If you wanna get better at balance, the best exercise is throwing yourself off balance a little bit. You know, you always wanna make sure that the practice looks like the thing, that's where you're gonna have the most results. Any other questions? No, go for it.
What about squatting down to pick up something and then getting back up?
Yeah, right. So we'll talk, For one, you gotta have good core strength, and this is how you practice it, right? Squatting down is the same motion, you know, whether you're in a chair or without a chair. What a lot of people do wrong, and this is a big Q&A here, is like let's say I've got something on the ground. Let's say this triangle, right? I'm trying to pick up this triangle. Most people they'll stop right here, and then they're leaning and leaning and leaning, and you can see like center of gravity is going farther and farther forward. This is harder and harder to balance. Like the better way to do it would be to come over it. I'm gonna stand over it. I'm gonna keep my center of gravity nice and upright, and then I'm gonna squat down and pick it back up. But, you know, that takes leg strength. But how you practice it is just the same thing, right? You've got to be able to stand up from a chair. This is the same motions picking up something from the ground here. You can just practice with shorter and shorter chairs until it's no problem. We didn't get too much into it, but yeah, that's a good goal, right? That's something that every senior really should be confident able to do, is pick something up from the floor, right? Or even, you know, get down to the floor and back. That's the same thing, you're just using one leg, but same motions. Yeah, that's it, you got it. And they got to do 10 in 30 seconds, that's the goal. That's the benchmark. Yeah, without pain, of course. And any other questions?
I can't get down.
Balance different from a woman to a man?
Yeah, yes, it is. There's some fun tricks that you can do. But yeah, the center of gravity is different, you know, man to woman. Really, it's different person to person, because it's the average of your weight. Next time I come in here, you can do a fun demonstration with a seesaw, where like somebody lays on a seesaw until it's equal, and then you can see where their center of gravity is. Next time I'll wheel in a giant seesaw. You'll be able to look. But that's how you would tell like where the center of gravity is, like a tipping point. And some people it's pretty high, some people it's pretty low based on body shape. But the core is right, you still need to be able, wherever it is, you've got to have the ability, the core strength and the reflexes and the practice to move it over each base of support, you know, as it gets narrower and narrower. Good question. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have any literature for us?
You mean like research studies?
Paperwork to take home.
Oh, no, I mean, I'll give you my card. I've got some brochures over there. But no, I'll leave my email out too, and actually my phone's over there. If you want me to like text you or email you the exercises we talked about, I'm happy to do that. Oh, well, you can just call me and I can tell them to you too. The phone number's on there. Just call me up and say, hey, I want to know what that homework was. I want to start working on it. I'll let you know. Yeah.
Nice to take something home.
Yeah. I mean, the short answer is right. Like
Might get more people coming to do that.
okay, yeah. Well, yeah. I'm planning on having these pretty often. I'm gonna hit the Bayview Center and the Gulf Breeze one too, but I'll be back to the Milton one, before too long, maybe like the next month or two. Anyway, any other questions? No, all good. Okay. Well, thank you guys for having me. Yeah. Appreciate the warm welcome. I think there's some more food over there, so grab some coffee. I'm gonna hang around here. If anybody wants to sign up, I got about 5 slots open this week, so just let me know. But otherwise, enjoy the weather. For a personal evaluation, a one-on-one physical therapy evaluation, where we talk about your specific deficits and what we can do for you to improve your balance. So my clinic is right behind where JCPenney used to be. Yeah, at University Mall, it's not a mall anymore. But yeah, that's where my private practice is. Yeah, and happy to work with anybody who wants to kind of take their balance to the next level, or just get just an evaluation. There's no contract or anything. If you just want to be, take a look at where you are and where you stand compared to your peers and what you should work on, that's fine too. Nope.
Did you say where JCPenney used to be?
Where University Mall used to be.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
No,
JCPenney's still there.
So you're behind JCPenney?
Yes, right behind JCPenney on Plantation Road. Yeah, that's it. Pensacola, right.
That's Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, right by Chuck E. Cheese. Chucky may or may not make an appearance.
Only if it's your birthday.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was it. That's the course.
Thank
Yeah.
you very
Yeah.
much.
Appreciate it. Like I said, grab some food and let me know if we can do anything to help. We'll pass this around. Good stuff. Oh, thank you. Well, for next time. It's the first one of the year. Hello, hello. Go for it.
Well, yeah, but it's like when something's wrong,
Well, so, was he able to get up when he was younger? Okay, that definitely can be just gonna take some time. The balance is always gonna be a little bit challenging because you've got some anti-competition. But I think
That was my big
always look
thing
at
about
prior
it.
like the balance getting worse.
Everybody sign this?
We need to get his balance back. He doesn't get his balance back to where it was. But it's,
Oh,
how old is he? 74. Was it better when he was at 65? I think that's fair. Getting back to his prior level. Perfect. But getting back to his prior level even 10 years ago.
I don't care. I have
And especially his
to go
strength.
outside and give it. What time you gotta actually leave? She's gotta leave at 12 to get Pensacola. All right. So she's gotta go home.
It's a challenge, right? So, fire department will always know.
Yeah, Nikki doesn't let her fly around now.
Two, right? What you're trying to do, which is you're on your knees. You're trying to get them into quadruped. You're trying to
So we have one of those, what's it called?
can't support his legs.
Instead of going down.
Well, then you probably want to try and get him onto his bottom. Forward,
What's today? Oh, what's today? Wednesday.
arms up while you're pulling from his armpits. There's no good way to do it unless you have that equipment. This would be, you have him try to deload his bottom here, right? Try to push some strength here. You get a very, very short chair to pull him back up onto the Okay, yeah, and it's definitely something. I mean, that's what we work on. That's like me too. Strength will be the next one, but yeah. So the progression is first you got to be able to stand up with using your hands. You can do that. Second is able to get up not using your hands, right? Third is practicing getting down just using your one hand, right? We're using furniture. You know, use like a pillow if it's painful. Or then the second one is, the last one is getting down to the floor and then being able to push your body back. It just takes practice, but
I was raised Catholic.
yes.
There's a big controversy in what I do.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's 2 hours. And then I'll stop.
Oh, yeah. Are you having knee pain?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You could definitely help with that knee pain. PT?
Don't really find sorry.
And so, it's a little bit different. Did you want to round it up there?
Yeah, that's like
So yeah, we can get a little bit of pain. We do a lot of massage. The needle. I'd say give it a shot. Like, even try it once. I'd be happy to see the thing. I'd be surprised if we couldn't take your knee pain. No. We got awesome insurance. Yeah. You can see me tomorrow. You can see me today. I got slots open. Yeah. Do not have to have a referral. We'll still fax the plan care over to your doctor as a courtesy. We can treat you for 30 days without a doctor referral. And almost always. Yeah, I can understand that. Is your knee hurting right now? I would be very surprised if you couldn't get your knee done that day. Better that day. Like I said, I'm sure Fed, she was having shoulder pain. She had it for months and months and months. She's pain free right now. Yeah, it depends. Exercise is there to supplement your daily life. If you're a very active daily life, right? If you're walking, if you're participating, exercise, you don't necessarily need exercise. You just need exercise if you're not getting it during the day. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I dislike when people tell people they gotta do these 20 exercises the rest of their life. Do you want me to put you on the schedule like tomorrow or anything?
No, I'll call back your office. This is the office.
Yep, that's the office number.
Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and that's
be a pleasure again tomorrow.
good balance. So we didn't ever get into it in this, but there's another level which is like, you've got packs, your balance packs. Not if you're a low risk of falls. The next step is distracted balance. It's yeah, that's harder for a lot of people, but distracted balance is another thing. A lot of people are very good at their balance. They're honed in and focusing. That's not always real life. In real life, you're walking, I'm talking to you, you got a grocery list, you got this going on, like you're not necessarily focusing 100% on your balance. So for you, that's what you're working on is distracted balance.
I did that. Okay, I'm coming
But you
on.
can say, hey, pat yourself on the back. Like, good work. Oh.
It's about 33
All right,
years
come on,
old.
Speedy.
Thanks for coming by.
You're welcome.
Oh,
Yeah. Yes,